Billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to our listeners on this Saturday morning on Radio Al Ansar 90.4 and 101.6 FM. I am Shubnum Ismail on the Peter Marisburg Pulse Show, capturing the heartbeat of the community. Today we are tuning into the importance of hearing health. I'm thrilled to introduce Masiha Mater, a passionate audiologist from Kind to Hearing, a leading national healthcare provider in South Africa. Based in Pietermaritzburg, Masiha takes a patient-centered approach, specializing in working with older adults and dedicated to delivering modern hearing solutions. Masiha believes that hearing health is intricately linked to emotional well-being, and she's committed to empowering patients and breaking the stigma surrounding hearing aids. With her expertise and compassionate approach, we'll explore the latest in hearing health, tackle common misconceptions, and discuss strategies for improving overall well-being. Let's welcome Masiha Mata on the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. It's great to be here.
It's also great to have you on today's show. We have a special for today's listeners. The first listeners to WhatsApp our line on 083 661 8957. I repeat, 083 661 8957 will get a complimentary diagnostic hearing test. Terms and conditions will apply. Before we dive in, we will have a short ad break and get to know everything about hearing impairment. Assalamu alaikum, listeners, and welcome to the Peter Marisburg Pulse Show with myself, Shubnum Ismail, and today's topic is hearing health with Nasiha. So remember, listeners, that hearing tests are essential for maintaining good health, and prioritizing hearing is essential to address issues such as not able to be able to listen clearly and to improve the overall enhancement of your health. So let's dive straight in, Masia. Can you tell me a little bit of what is audiology?
Okay, audiology is all about helping people hear and communicate better. Audiologists test hearing, fit hearing aids, and support anyone with a hearing loss, especially older adults. It's about improving your quality of life.
And how would you diagnose and treat hearing issues?
Okay, so we would start with a detailed case history, followed by hearing tests that check how well you hear different tones and speech. If a hearing loss is found, we discuss treatment options like hearing aids, assistive devices, or referrals if there is a medical issue.
And you are based in Pietermaritzburg. What does Kind to Hearing offer?
Okay, so we're based in Woodburn Square inside the Intercare. At Kind to Hearing, we offer noise protection, free hearing screenings, full hearing tests, quality hearing aids, and all the support that you may need, like hearing aid cleanings and services, batteries, as well as expert care.
So, what exactly is hearing loss? I'm sure if you get your patients coming through and you run a test and you tell them there is an issue with their hearing loss, how did they react, and what would you say is the reaction?
We have a variety of reactions. Sometimes it's shock, sometimes it's what the patient expects as they come in. A hearing loss just means that your ears aren't picking up sound as well as they used to. For most older adults, it happens very slowly, so you might not notice it right away. Common signs you may have are asking people to repeat themselves a lot, turning up the TV or the radio louder than everyone else likes, or having trouble in a group conversation. If you feel like everyone's mumbling all the time, it might not be them, it might be your hearing.
And what if someone does not have a hearing checked annually? What could be the challenges?
Leaving a hearing loss untreated isn't just frustrating, it can actually affect your brain. When your brain isn't getting enough sound, it has to work a lot harder to make sense of things. That can lead to mental fatigue, stress, and even memory issues. In fact, some research has shown that untreated hearing loss is linked to a higher risk of Alzheimer's. But there is good news. The fix is simple. Getting your hearing checked can make a big difference in how you think, feel, and connect with others.
I hope you're taking notes, listeners. That's the importance and how you can actually get your hearing checked with the treatment that's been offered and what the Kind to Hearing has to offer. What will be some of the common issues and how can it be prevented?
Okay, so for our most common factor affecting hearing loss would be aging. But exposure to loud noise, certain medications, infections, and genetics can also play a role. We can't stop aging, but we can protect our ears from loud environments and get our hearing checked on a regular basis.
Working in healthcare myself, I do see a lot of patients with hearing aids. And what would you say is the stigma around hearing aids?
Okay, that's such a common feeling, and I understand it. For years, hearing aids had this reputation of being big, bulky, and beige, something only your grandparents wore. But times have changed. Today's hearing aids are small, discreet, and packed with smart technology. But more importantly, they help you to stay connected. Think about it this way. What's more noticeable, wearing a tiny device or constantly having to ask somebody to repeat themselves? Taking care of your hearing isn't about age, it's about quality of life.
Very interesting. And what would you say the community can do to protect themselves from loud noises in the environment to protect their hearing?
One of the best ways is by using noise protection, such as earplugs, when you're around loud sounds like power tools, concerts, or sports events. Also, remember to take regular breaks to give your ears a rest from the noise. And for the parents out there, remind your kids not to turn up the volume too high on their earphones. Most phones now give us a warning when the sound level is too loud. Don't ignore it. Listening too loud for too long can cause permanent damage to your hearing.
And should our listeners prioritize to have hearing tests done?
We should have our ears tested at least once a year, or sooner if you notice any changes, like struggling to follow conversations, needing to turn the volume up more than usual, or even family members complaining.
And obviously, the world is evolving. There's modern technology. And how would you say this is making an impact to one's work?
Okay, so technology is making hearing care much simpler. We can now help you from the comfort of your own home and fine tune your hearing aids without you having to come in. The service we offer is called teleaudiology. It's all about making things easier and more comfortable for you.
Wow. And very important question. I know I actually have family and friends that are obviously much elder and you as you get older, you hear that you have hearing impairment, how would you say hearing can be restored in the future? What is your suggestion and your experience?
Unfortunately, once a hearing loss occurs due to age, genetics, or prolonged exposure to loud sounds, etc., it cannot be restored. There's no magic cure yet to bring back lost hearing, but we do have excellent treatments like hearing aids that can help you better improve the quality of your life.
And emotionally, I'm sure these patients, once you've told them you have a hearing problem, in your experience, emotionally, how would you advise them to cope?
Hearing loss can be very emotionally challenging. It can lead to feelings of frustration, isolation, and even depression. People often struggle with misunderstandings in conversation, which can affect relationships. There's also the stress of not fully participating in social situations or work. It's important to acknowledge these feelings and get support when needed, whether it's through professional help or connecting or with others who might understand what you are going through.
Interesting. Do you see a lot of traumatic cases coming through, maybe patients that have had accidents, and do you refer them to any surgeons in the city?
Yes, so a lot of motor vehicle accidents or falls in the elderly, we do refer to ENT specialists to have scans done, and once the ENTs have assessed and treated on their side, they'd refer back to us, and then that is when we would fit a hearing aid if necessary.
And how can we support our family and friends that's experiencing hearing loss?
The first thing is to be patient and understanding. Hearing loss can be very frustrating for both the person experiencing it and their loved ones. If someone you care about is struggling with a hearing loss, try to make communication easier, speak clearly, face them when talking, and minimize background noise. It's important to be encouraging, whether they are getting hearing aids, using captions, or just needing extra time to process information. Let them know that you're there for them and willing to help, but also respect their space if they need it.
With Kind to Hearing, I believe that you guys offer mobile services. Can you elaborate a little bit about this and how your services would benefit our patients?
Absolutely. Our mobile services are designed for those who are elderly, frail, or simply unable to visit one of our branches. We bring the full range of hearing care directly to your doorstep, whether it's a hearing test, fitting hearing aids, or wax removals. It's all about making sure everyone has access to the care that they need.
Listeners, as we've heard from Asiha, hearing is a vital aspect of our daily lives, and it actually allows us to connect with our loved ones, work, and the world around us. Yet, hearing loss affects millions worldwide, impacting relationships, mental health, and overall well being. So, follow these vital steps and guidelines, and let's have our hearing tests on a regular basis being checked. We're going to have a short ad break, and when we return, we're going to dive back into more tips on maintaining a healthy hearing health. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are tuned into the Peter Marisburg Pulse Show with myself, Shubnum Ismail, and we have an audiologist with us, Masiha Mirtar, and we're learning all about hearing health and the importance of that. And we're going to actually cover how we can maintain our ear health today and the cleanliness and the hygiene. So, Masiha, can you elaborate on how we can focus on cleaning our ears?
The first thing I would advise against is using cotton buds or earbuds, or sticking anything sharp like paper clips, pens, I've seen a lot, into your ears to try to clean out wax. I would just advise that you, whatever your towel reaches after you shower, just wipe your ears. Whatever that reaches is good enough. You never ever need to stick anything into your ear.
Okay, that's really interesting. Would you like to elaborate further about that?
Sure. If you ever feel like your ears are blocked due to wax, I would recommend that you see an audiologist or your GP to have that wax removed professionally.
Okay, listeners, please take note. Don't introduce sharp objects into your ears. There could be some side effects and dangers. We have a listener that would like to know, Khatija Amra, is your services medical aid covered?
Okay, yes, we accept all medical aids and we also do cash as well.
Okay. I know that our kids, it's very popular. You see them with their iPods and their ear devices. What advice will you give the mums and dads out there to actually reduce the impact of using these devices too frequently?
I would say keep reminding your children not to listen for too loud or monitor their usage. You don't want to have them on it for too long because we have seen the damage that it can cause. And we don't want to see it, especially in younger children.
Do you think that school maybe should introduce some programs, part of their life skills, and advise learners and educate them? And do you go to schools? Do you do some educational roadshows? And what sort of programs you drive behind the scenes?
Yes, we do. We have been to a few high schools in Pietermaritzburg. We mainly focus on the teachers. We advise teachers on hearing health and how to educate and incorporate hearing into the curriculum a little bit, just so that people are aware of the dangers of that loud sounds have on our hearing.
I do believe that prevention is better than cure. In your opinion, what would you actually say?
So when we say prevention is better than cure, we are talking about noise protection. So if you know you work in a noisy environment or you have hobbies like shooting, it's up to you to have the proper ear protection to protect your hearing and keep your hearing for as long as possible. We don't want to diminish our hearing early on in life. We don't really want it to happen, but we want it to occur like as late as possible. So I would definitely say find the correct ear protection, whether it's earplugs, the headsets. At Kind to Hearing, we offer custom protections, so you can come through for impressions, and we would fit you with your custom-made earplugs.
You spoke earlier about you being throughout South Africa, so our listeners in different areas, where are your branches located so they can get in touch with you?
Okay, so the practice is nationwide. We have 3 branches in KwaZulu-Natal. There's one in Durban North, one in Seadoon, and then there's us in Pietermaritzburg. All 3 branches offer mobile visits. So if you're unable to make it into the practice, one of our audiologists will happily come to your door.
So tell us, if a patient walks into your branch and they schedule to have hearing tests done, what sort of equipment you use and technology, and how long is the actual hearing test?
We would first start with speak to the patient, ask them what their concerns are, what the problems they've been having. We then just use a light to look inside their ears, see how everything is doing in there. Then we put on a headset, and with the headset we test a range of frequencies. We do speech testing, and thereafter we can program the results into hearing aids if the patient requires it.
We hear about amputations and we spoke a little bit about trauma. Have you had any patients that had to have one of the ear removed, and had to obviously balance with hearing with one ear, and how would you suggest they deal with those emotions from actually having those sort of challenges?
Okay, so we've had incidents that were caused by trauma, so that a complete loss of hearing in one or both ears. It becomes quite a big adaptation for patients to overcome, or to acquire rather. We provide support, whether it's through hearing aids. There are also another hearing aid. It's called a bone conductor. So if the ear canal is no longer functional, we place a device behind the ear on the bone, and that is used to aid hearing.
Interesting. And obviously, we're all surrounded by factories and loud equipment, your industries, and the noise factor. How would you advise those workers that are dealing in those environments to combat the noise levels?
If you are working in a noisy environment, you need to be wearing noise protection. Employers should provide the noise protection, but it's up to the employee to be wearing it at all times when they're in the space where the noise is very, very loud.
Okay. And are you aware of any research for technology advancements for hearing impairment?
In our hearing aids, our quality hearing aids, we have AI features, so that allows the hearing aid to detect the environment that it's in and adjust its settings accordingly without you having to go in and manually adjust.
Do you guys do case studies in your area of your field in the Pietermaritzburg area? If you actually take studies from your patients and find common problems, do you normally look at putting some educational programs in place for that?
Yes, so we've found that it's caused by noise, like it's a noise-induced hearing loss, but it's only ever treated much later in life. So our programs are focused at the old age homes in Pietermaritzburg. We do monthly visits, wellness checks, and we also go to factories where they use loud equipment and do hearing information sessions there as well.
For our former workers like our paramedics, our firemen that go into dusty environments and those areas, what advice will you give them and guide them onto dealing with that environment and those concerns?
Okay, if you're worried about the cleanliness of your ears, you're always welcome to just pop in for one of us to have a look inside your ears, just to make sure everything is clean and good. If not, we are willing to help, we are able to help, and we will help.
Remember, listeners, Kind Hearing is doing a giveaway today, so you can actually WhatsApp us and we will actually consider doing a complimentary hearing test on 083 661 8957. I repeat, 083 661 8957, and you could qualify for a complimentary hearing test. Masiha, is there anything else you'd like to actually contribute to the show in terms of audiology, in your opinion?
I would say don't ever ignore a hearing loss. The minute you feel like you might have one, even if you're not 100% sure, just come in and have a screening. The screening is completely free, and from there we can see whether or not you need a full hearing test or whether everything is okay.
So, listeners, the importance of audiology from themselves. Masiha, how can listeners get in touch with you?
Okay, they can get us on our WhatsApp line 082 719 7908. You can send us a WhatsApp with your name and age, and we can contact you about hearing tests or whatever you require.
Listeners, keep in touch with our radio station, as we will let you know later in the year when the team is going to have some complimentary hearing screenings in the area. It's very vitally important that we actually make this part of our daily lives in order to have our hearing checked, and other organs as well, our sight, and make it part of our lifestyle. Jazakallah for joining us. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our standing technician, Brother Asif, all the way from Durban today, our amazing guests and our incredible team, and most importantly, you, our wonderful listeners. Your engagement are what makes this show so special. And until next time, from myself at the Pulse Show in Pietermaritzburg, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep shining. Remember, our bookshop is open. We are here to support you in Pietermaritzburg. And from my side, that's a wrap, listeners. Shubnum Ismail from the Pulse Show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.